Well, good morning or afternoon or evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this video. It is January 3rd, 2020, and I have a word that's been on my heart, and the word is suffering well. I know, what a topic. I was thinking about that the other day, and suffering well, I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. I was like, what is that? Is that even such a thing? And so I thought about it for about a day or two, and I was just like, what is suffering well? It kind of sounds like an oxymoron. Um, is that even a thing? How do you do it? And why? And so during my early morning Bible time, I recalled the story in Acts where Paul and Silas were in prison. And it's in Acts 16:24. Paul and Silas found themselves in prison. They had been traveling around spreading the gospel, but not everybody was happy about it. Not everybody was receptive and receiving their message. In this one particular instance, they had casted out a demonic spirit from a slave girl, and the owners of this girl were not very happy because that was taking away their financial stability. So Paul and Silas found themselves in jail. So at around midnight, while they were in prison, they just started praising God. They started praying to him and praising and singing songs and hymns to him. Now, when I think about this, I know if I had found myself in jail, I would probably be whining, crying. I'll probably be angry, feeling sorry for myself. Like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Praying, God, help me get out of here. Help me get out of these chains. I'll probably be thinking about how musty it smelled being in the jail cell. Praise would probably not be the first thing on my mind to do. But that's what Paul and Silas did. So they showed us a different response. But the most amazing thing is, after Paul and Silas began praising, there was an earthquake that came. All of the chains were broken. All of the prisoners were set free as a result of the praise of two men. The prison guard was the one who was really upset. He was about to take his own life because he knew that there would be some fatal consequences for him as a result of these prisoners being released. But Paul and Silas stopped, and Paul talked to him. And they intervened and stopped the man from killing himself. And they preached the gospel to this man, and this man ended up being saved, as well as his entire family. So when I think about the domino effect of the praise of Paul and Silas, it's mind-blowing. Because of the praise of those two men, they were freed, other people were freed, and an entire family came to Christ. So to me, Paul and Silas gave us an example of how to suffer well. Now, if they would have been self-centered and only focused on themselves, or only focused on how unfair it was, or whatever, then this miracle would have never taken place. So it just further reminds me that God's thoughts are not our thoughts, that God's ways are not our ways, that they are much, much higher than our ways and our thoughts. God's thoughts were about all of the prisoners. God's thoughts were about that man's family. And Paul and Silas were used as vessels to free people who were bound and to save people who needed salvation. So Paul and Silas had a great impact on that city. And it was because of their suffering. But because they were able to suffer well, then it had a tremendous impact on that city. So back to my questions. Is it possible to suffer well? Yes. How do we do it? We find that place of praise. And why? Because we can receive blessings and benefits. But more than that, other people will be greatly blessed as well. So I kind of think to the children of Israel when they were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years, if they would have had a different story, if they would have found that place of praise instead of grumbling and complaining. I just wonder. But I don't know. I don't know if that would have changed or not, and I can't get into woulda, coulda, shouldas. But what I can do is I can apply this right now in my life. Jesus did say that we would experience suffering and trouble and trials and storms. But this story lets me know that we can suffer well and we can experience some benefits personally, but also it's so much bigger than just us. So when trials and problems and storms come into your life, I encourage you to find that place of worship and find that place of praise so that you and me can suffer well. God's blessings to you. Mwah.